Hello, Shailaja. Yeah, Shailaja.
Good morning to one and all present here today. Welcome back to our parent workshop from Neve Nurture Plus. Dear parents, on behalf of Neve Nurture Plus, so I once again welcome all of you today for the workshop. And today our esteemed speaker would be Ms. Rupashri. A brief profile about Ms. Rupashri. Ms. Rupashri has done her MSc and MBA Marketing. CEO of Ranglakshmi Netralaya, Yalanka, Newtown, Bangalore. She has 15 years of experience in the IT, worked in training and project management office as senior program manager. Worked in iGate for 10 years with different clients globally in the project Royal Bank of Canada. Have trained several freshers on soft skill programs and mentored them. She's taken soft skill program for counseling students at Banjara Academy on time management, goal setting, communication, and assertiveness. She has counseled several students, adults, and patients, working as a part-time counselor for a government school too. She is very regular at taking sessions for high school and college children on stress management. She has formulated a session called I Love Myself, a program for suicide prevention. Over to today's workshop, which is Destress Parenting. I'm sure all of you would love to listen and are eager to listen to the points what ma'am has to share with us today. So are you worried your child hates studying? Digital maniac? He or she dislikes vegetables? Is a couch potato? Hates exercises? And has teenage tantrums? Many more to add to this list. So this is a session which takes you into loving the journey of parenting, the hows and whys of parenting by our esteemed speaker, Ms. Rupashri once again. Over to you, ma'am, to entice the audience on the day's workshop, Destress Parenting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just start off with my video and presentation.
Sure.
Yeah. Good morning to all. Hope I'm audible. I'm on mute. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. So very good morning to one and all, and hope my screen is also seen. It's all fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Yes. So before I begin, thanks to the team of Madam Shailaja, Madam Yadushaila, and thanks to Kalpana Mohan for giving me this opportunity to talk on today's much needed and hot topic, de-stressed parenting. So let me begin with a short story. There were two neighbors. Let's name them Mr. A and Mr. B. Both of them got plants and they potted it. So when they did that, Mr. A did a lot to nurture it. He put nutrients, he put a lot of water, daily was taking care of the plant. Whereas neighbor B didn't do much. He just gave the minimal water that was required. After 1 month, both the neighbors exchanged their feedback. Mr. A, he said, my plant is really growing very well. It is very lush and green. Whereas Mr. B said, yeah, my plant is simple. It's fine. And lo, one night there was a storm and Mr. A's plant just swooped, whereas Mr. B's plant was sturdy and good. Both of them again exchanged and Mr. B was really perplexed. You know what was the reason? One of them said, the reason for this is because I did minimum watering, minimum nutrients, and due to which the plant could fend for itself. Whereas your plant, you gave everything that was required. You nurtured more than required. That is the reason the roots of the plant did not become strong. This is exactly what I wanted to tell you all, dear parents. Parenting is all about nurturing, but nurturing just right. And how much of nurturing and how much of attention you have to pay to your kids, it all depends on children. Each child is different. Even in your own homes, you may have two boys or two girls, yet you can see the differences. So this is where the genes versus environment starts coming into play. This is an age old topic of interest for all researchers. I think all of you know about this debate that has been going on, and you'd all be curious to know which plays an upper hand. Is it the genes or is it the environment? Genes capture the evolutionary responses, whereas the environmental flexibility helps in adjusting to changes. Parents, in between, I would definitely like to, take some questions from you. Let's see as we go ahead, because let it not be one-sided. That is what I request you all. Okay, all of us are very proud when it comes to our children. Yes, my daughter has a beautiful long hair. She has inherited from me. My son has got a lot of brains. He does chess. He's brilliant at chess. He plays cricket well. My daughter is very good at dance. She really sings well. These are some of the credits which all of us love to take with our children, isn't it? But unfortunately, the genes doesn't allow only the qualities of beauty, brains, and creativity. There are other qualities too, which also come into play, whether we like it or not. Parents, you do agree that there are many things which we don't want in our children, but still it just gets inherited. This is where the parental environment plays a major role. Even before we get into the hate studying concept, I'll tell you an example of environment versus genes. If suppose there is a boy who has genes in him of becoming tall, but he is not given enough nutrients, he has problems at home, he is malnourished, he has some problems, he will not attain the full height. So here the environment is playing a role. Even in our own homes, say suppose we have a boy who is very interested in playing cricket, but the entire family loves music. So day in and day out, you play a lot of music. You're teaching, probably having a music school, you have other children coming. Maybe there is a person in your house who is playing violin. So what happens to the kid? Due to the environment of music, his cricket interest is subdued. So he gets pulled into the environment of music. So there are two things that can happen. The child may slowly get accustomed to it and he says, okay, I'll forget cricket, let me go with the music. Or the other thing can also happen. As he grows older and older, he may start feeling, I don't like music. I want to resume cricket. This is when all the tantrums start at home. So let's be very careful on genes and environment and see how to bring about the changes which we like. Coming to the most popular topic, which all of us are worried. I don't know why my child just doesn't like studying, is the concern of many of us. The moment a child comes with a marks sheet to us, immediately we see the marks. Oh, why did you get 20 out of 30? This is immediate response to the kid. And when this response goes on and on continuously, what happens to the kid? The kid slowly loses confidence in the subject or confidence in the entire studies itself. And the other thing which we do is we start comparing the kid. Why is it that we have to compare the kid? This is another mistake which we generally do. So the kid doesn't like being compared. The kid loses confidence. The kid may have a problem with the teacher or the peers or the very parents repeatedly telling the kid, why aren't you doing well? Why aren't you doing well? Or finally, it could be that the kid's IQ itself is low. And what do? We cannot shout at the kid because handling the kid is of utmost importance. See, there are different types of children. We should understand even the siblings, there is a change. One child may be sensitive, one child may be emotional, one may be very serious. So your conversations with the kid has to be in accordance with the character of the child. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster. And please remember, every child again is interested in a different thing. So we will have to be very patient to harness that interest rather than our interest. And as I said, since every child is different and unique, they have a lot of questions to ask us. And we get irritated as parents. What is this? So many questions. Why can't the child just listen to what I say? So that is the reason we start getting into the problems. Yes, this is the next story. In fact, the digital maniac has increased over the last year, and thanks to our corona pandemic, which has really made all our kids addicted to digital gadgets, be it the mobiles, or be it the television, or be it the games. They are very addictive. And it's the easiest things they can get indulged into because there was no playing over the years. At least the last year has been very bad. And even otherwise, there's a lot of other things from the school which they feel they have to complete. And some kids just don't want to play. They want to sit at home and get entertained themselves. So the very fact some kids are just tech savvy, they want to keep on exploring something new because technology today gives them a lot of scope to explore every day. And the present day kids are so hyperactive. They just want to change almost every hour or every minute also. They just don't like the same thing to be continued every day. And this is the easiest thing to get indulged. So when you're worried that your child is a digital maniac, once again, you'll have to ask yourself, am I responsible in any way? Is it that I also see a lot of television? Is it that I also see a lot of cell phone? So what you'll have to do at that time, first thing is when you see your child playing with a gadget, instead of just telling, why don't you put that gadget away with a harsh tone, just go sit next to him. See what he is doing. Appreciate that. Appreciate what he is doing. What is he playing? Just try to see. Be with him for some time or be with her for some time. And after 20 minutes, after he or she has shown you what he or she is doing, the next thing what you'll have to do is try to slowly get the child away and say, hey, whatever you were doing is very fine. Now, can you just help me because you're so good at it? And you will have to take the child slowly away from the digital gadget, be it the television or the games, and indulge the child either with you in the kitchen or in the garden or in cleaning the room. So many a times we don't do this. Why? Because we are happy to be left alone. We have so much of work. Maybe we are doing our own online working, especially in the last year it has been there. Otherwise, too, we have so much of our own things. We say, okay, forget it. Let them look into the gadget. I will be free. So we are also responsible for what they are doing, parents. Hope you do agree on this. And one question to all of you. How many of you take out your mobile, keep it in a silent state and say, I'm not going to touch my cell phone for the next 2 hours, for the next 3 hours? Parents, can I get some answers from you on the chat? How many of you don't touch your mobile for more than 2 hours? Anyone? Any answers? You can put your answers in the chat. Is there anyone who says, I just don't want to touch my mobile on Saturday and Sunday? I don't want to see my serials for the next 1 week. Any answers, parents? Yeah. So I'm not seeing the response. Okay. So what we'll have to do is, it's very important that we keep our cell phones aside. That is what is the mantra for the parents, so that we can also get the child away from the gadgets that the child is using. Yes. Vegetables. Ma'am, mom, I just don't like the food today because there are so many vegetables in that. Please give me a food which has no vegetables, which has no fruits. Give me something nice. Pizza, veg fries, I like them. So, what does the mother do? Even at school, the teachers try to tell the children, please have vegetables, it's very important. Again, we have to play a major role. Many of us just don't want to eat vegetables ourselves. Right in the morning, we indulge in carbohydrates. But if you want to see the change in the child, you have to be the change yourself. Start eating healthy. Even if you don't like it, at least to change your child from the habits of junk, it's very important that we make interesting dishes out of vegetables, out of fruits. And nowadays, the technology is available. There are so many recipes that are available to make the child eat interesting vegetables, interestingly done fruits, combination of both. So parents, we just have to take that extra efforts, extra time to go through and see those recipes which your child requires. Rather than cribbing or rather than feeling that my child doesn't have vegetables. Sometimes it's easier to ask our girl childs to eat certain vegetables or fruits. Emotionally you can tell them, say your hair, if you want it to be nice, if your skin needs to be nice, you'll have to eat these vegetables or fruits. It's easy, but it doesn't work out always. So as I told you before, there is no one single mantra to cope up with a child. You have to change it according to the individual child and its moods. Couch potato. This is another thing which has happened tenfold in the last 1 year due to Corona again. Otherwise, also, the kids just love the couches we put in our house. They just want to sit there. Is it because nobody is there to tell them, please get up, do some work? There's no one to brisk them up. Or is it that there are too many people in the house? Maybe, there are maids or maybe the grandparents. They're already there. They're taking care of all their needs. Hey, no problem. You sit. I will get you food. I'll get you water. It's okay. You're a kid. You watch. You do what you're doing. So what happens is the child develops sheer laziness. And something interesting, they don't have to do. All they have to do is sit. So who is that person who will create interest in them to get out of the sofa? Someone should be there who will always tell them, get up, do this, do that. But for that, we ourselves have to be brisk. And even if grandparents are there at home, they have to be told to make the children, their grandchildren, get up, help them, go around. It is for the good of the children. But many of the grandparents, there's so much love that it's difficult for them to cater to this. So it's in our hands that we have to be brisk, at least over the weekends, or once we come back from work, we better see that they get up from their place, walk around. We have to take them out for walking. I know it is very tiring. We ourselves will be tired. We just want to take rest. But if you have to change your child, you have to do a much more brisk activity and tell yourself, I will be more active. Only then things can shapen out. Yeah, exercises and couch potato are almost interlinked. In our busy schedule, we have forgotten, many of us, to even exercise. Some of us do, some of us don't. And when we do these exercises, we fail to see or we fail to take our children to also do these exercises, which is very important. Many a times we ourselves, we feel it's okay, I'll do the exercise tomorrow, or I'll do it next week, I'm too tired. The children will keep watching all these very closely, and that is what we are going to tell you. Mama, you don't exercise. Why do you expect me to exercise? It's so boring. And some kids just don't like to go out and play at all. We were much different in our generation. We used to play, we had no other options. But now you have other options. So everything is interlinked. The digital media is interlinked. The schooling now presently is interlinked. The amount of work they have once they come back from school. So many things are all adding to not exercising in the kids. But the schools are trying, at least from next year, I'm sure they're going to increase the amount of exercises to these kids. They have more periods on yoga, more periods on, whatever external games like basketball or cricket, hopefully. But until then, it is in our stride to see that they exercise and be healthy. They have to be told, not once or twice. For that, when you start exercising, see, first day itself, you cannot expect a change. First day, you will say, come, I'm going for a walking. Why don't you come? The child will say, no, mama, you go. It's so boring. I just want to sit. Second day, it's the same answer. Third day, same answer. But after 10 days, you keep asking the same question and the child will get up. The child will say, okay, I will come with you. And that is the day for you to change the way your child looks at exercising or looks at sitting at one place. You have to start talking to the child very interestingly, initially, and slowly make the very exercise, a joy. If the child is interested in badminton, please go ahead, go and play with him. If your child is interested in basketball, but the basketball court is not available in your apartment or near your house, take him to a sports place where it's available. Again, parents, it's all extra time, extra efforts, but we have to do it for the good of the child. Otherwise, it'll be too late. Yes, this is a thing which many of your children are already in or they are heading to. What is the teen tantrums? We have also passed through our teenage. The famous quote which all of our mothers says, you were not like this. I don't know why your child is like this. So there's a lot of difference in our times compared to what it is today. So it's very, very different approach than our parents, what they did to us and what we do to our children. First of all of us know that during teenage, what is actually playing a role is the hormones, the progesterone or the estrogen, all of them are playing havoc in a child's brain. We should understand this. And added to this, we put in our own mantras. See, all of you know that nowadays the children don't like to be told anything twice. You say something once, that's it. The second time you say, they don't like it. And these hormones, a lot of research is actually going on, why the teenagers are behaving that way. Some of the teenagers are fine. Why is it some of them get into drugs? Why is it some of the teenagers are getting into depression? So all this is due to the hormones that are playing in their brain. At the same time, the environment. So again, the genes and the environment come into play here. So it's very important that when your loving child comes into teenage, you have to change. So rather than telling the child, why is it that you're behaving like this? If you don't change, it's very difficult for the child to come out of this. See what exactly, though there are various researches going on, one research says that the child, as it grows, the testosterone hormone also increases. So as it increases, the child becomes more mature to take decisions. If you talk to your teenage children, if you ask any question, they almost answer like an adult. But that doesn't mean they're adult. The state from which these answers are coming are from an emotional arena. It is not an adult arena from where the answers come. Logical brain is working, but the emotional part of it, it's very important. It is still not up. So in some of the teenagers, where the testosterone hormone is low, they get into depression very soon. And parents unknowingly, if you start talking to the child in a you know authoritative way, the child will sulk into depression. On the other hand, some of them, the testosterone will be high, and so they'll be much better. But still, remember, parents, we have to change. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster. So treat the children like adults, but help them as friends. So this is what you will have to understand. And if you do the reverse, it will be a problem. So be very careful. Start treating them as adults, but look at them when they want help. Don't advise as parents, advise as friends once they reach teenage. Now, many of the parents, you may feel, what is it? I should never tell anything to my child? No, it's not like that. There is a very famous quote which says that if you have never been hated by your child, you have never been a parent. Please remember, there are certain yardsticks which you have to have, without which the child will not be a good human being. But at the same time, you have to be very cautious on how to deal with it. As I explained to you before, there can be different types of children. We have already seen there are emotional children, there are serious children, they are very playful, some of them are very sensitive, some of them are very determined. We have different types of children. In the same way, we have different parenting styles. Again, there are a lot of debates on the type of parenting which is just right for the kid. If you go through the books, there are different, research papers on parenting. But one such which I have taken is this. You have three main types of parenting. One is the authoritarian, one is the permissive, one is the authoritative. Though authoritarian and authoritative almost sound same, they are two very, very different ones. So let me give an example to sound you what an authoritarian, authoritative, and a permissive parents sound like. Let's take an example. Your child is not cleaning his room. It is very dirty, and you've been telling him the child is not doing it. So, what will an authoritarian parent sound like? He will say, child, if you don't clean your room today, all your toys, all your things in the room will be out. This is an authoritarian parent who is speaking. On the other hand, a permissive parent who is soft will say, okay, I've been telling you over the week you're not cleaning. Okay, clean tomorrow. It's okay. But how does an authoritative parent talk? The authoritative parent will definitely put his point across. Child, I have been telling you from past 1 week, your room is so dirty. Why don't you clean it? The child will definitely not like it. So the parent will go one step further, an authoritative parent, and will say, okay, I will also help you. We will finish it fast, and then we can do something interesting, what you like. This is an authoritative parent. So latest research says that you should always not only tell the child to do his work, but you also be a part of it, which is very important. So how many of us parents will be a part of the child's growing up, will be a part of the child's upbringing, is something which we all have to introspect. Whether we have time, whether we don't have time, we have to make certain changes in us and try to see how to bring in the child the way the child wants and we also want. So, what is this loving parenting? This is the other topic. And before I go into the topic, parents, is there any questions so far? You can just put it in the chat. You have anything to ask? Yeah, I see some of them. I have a question here. My child goes out and never comes. Yes, Revati has given this. Revati, what you mean is the child just loves playing. The child doesn't want to come back once he is gone, and it's very difficult for you to get the child back. That is what I understand. If this is what it is, then what you have to do is you have to try going to the place where the child is and tell the child. If you just tell the child, stop playing, come with me, the child will not come. So what you can do is maybe the child, something of the child's interest. You can say, I have some problem at home. Maybe, the door is not opening. You can give some sort of a excuse and tell the child, see, you are good at it. Why don't you come with me? Just help me. This is the only way the child can be dragged out. If you directly say, the child, come, you've played so long, the child will not do it. Is Revati there? Have you tried this out? And one of them has told that we spend every day 40 minutes on various physical activity. Wow, that's very nice. That's very nice. It's a very conscious decision. And I'm sure the child also is enjoying and you're also enjoying. I do it most of the times. My phone will be untouched for more than 2 hours. Excellent, Deepa. It's very nice. I think, you'll also have to tell me once you do this, was there a change in the child's outlook? Did the child also in some way stop the digital gadgets for some time or for some minutes, whatever it is? You should tell me that if there was a change in that. Definitely, it is. And what else do I see? Yes. How many times I can be authoritative? Whenever I ask my daughter to clean room, she is expecting my help. Yeah, it's a very good question. How many times? That's a count, which is very difficult to say. But yes, patience is very much required. I don't know how many times you've asked her to clean the room. Is it 5 times, 6 times? At least one of the times she has to get up and she has to help you, or you have to help her and say, come, it's enough. Now we will come. I waited for almost 7 days. Nothing has happened. Come back. We will clean and then do whatever you want. See, there is no one correct method that any one of us can follow because the child is different and you know your children better. And how many times you have to do the same thing, it depends on you and your child. But don't lose patience. You have to keep doing it, and one day the child will agree. It cannot be. After all, a child is innocent. It's your own kid. They know, understand. They are seeing you, asking, cajoling, telling. I'm sure they will melt one day. So it's just a matter of time. But we cannot lose it. Because the moment you lose it, it's very difficult to get them back. I often in the weekends do not touch my phone at all, sometimes over 24 hours. Excellent, wonderful. This is very important. And Payal, I'm sure you see the changes in the kid. All these definitely there'll be a change. If you can't see it immediately, over the months, over the years, the changes will be visible. Let me tell you, let me assure you, there'll be subtle changes which you can already start seeing in them. And there's one more. Child literally cries to help me in the household work. Deepa, what you can do is, what is it that your child loves? Why don't you first go and do that with the child? Is it that she watches TV, her favorite serials are there? Or is it that she just on her mobile chat with her friends? So whatever she likes, you just be a part of it for some time. And then later, definitely the child will come on to what you want. You can always say, see, I'm here with you. Okay, we've seen this movie. It's so interesting. And the way you develop the conversation, the way you take the child away should be, glaringly not felt by the child. That is very important. But once you do this, the child will have to turn around. Okay, sorry, someone has commented that they are not a parent yet, but there is a concern on parenting. Uh, okay, so these are some of the interactions or questions from the parents, which is very nice. And what I tell parents, please don't lose hope. Keep trying. It will happen. That is what parenting, loving parenting is all about. And what is this topic I'm talking about? Loving parenting. All of you might say, what is the meaning? I'm always a loving parent. I have decided I'll be a loving parent. So why should I feel the stress at all? But loving parenting comes not when your kid is in the womb, even before that. Even before becoming a parent, there is a lot of mental makeup. I think the present day, or even in during our times, we have been enough cautious about it, wherein only when we are mentally prepared, we are getting into this thought of parenthood. So, you can love being a parent when you start making up yourself for it. Both the parents, there are a lot of changes that has to take place, otherwise it's not going to be a good result. You need to change personally. You should learn the flexibility. You should learn more patience. Your own well-being is very important. Your own work-life balance. All these are needed to be taken care of by you. Only then slowly you can start thinking of getting into the parenthood, and you will start enjoying it. So with being parents, there are a lot of changes. I'm sure even if you didn't want, it has come. But many things consciously we have to inculcate in us. Otherwise, we get stressed. So parents getting stressed is all because we don't want to change ourselves. We want the child to change. But many a times it doesn't happen. It is like you take one step, the child takes one step. Otherwise, only you taking a step is too much stressful, and only the child taking a step is also stressful. So both of you will land in a very unpleasant situation. So mental makeup for parenting is what is very important, and your work-life balance. That is, I see in many of the IT companies wherein once the women decide to become parents, though they are in active software development, they would like to get into other departments which are less demanding. So this is a very common thing which I saw in my own company when I was working. So remember, parenting is just not about giving birth and bringing up a child, but you have the responsibility of developing a human being who is in good control emotionally and mentally. And not only that, you're also equally responsible to give a good human being to the society, not just to yourself. So, with this in mind, it is very important that we should consider this as a challenge. It was not like those days wherein in our generation still we were okay, we were listening to our parents. Our exposure was not as much as what the kids of today have. They're so exposed. What we knew when we were 20s, they know right now when they're 10. So that becomes very challenging, not only for us, it's challenging for them also. Just as we are battling, they are also battling. So we have to understand. It's difficult for them to express all that's happening inside, but we have to try to get it out from them. In many houses, I have seen when the kid is on the mobile, the parents say, "Hey, what is this? What is this you're doing? Don't see all this." On the other hand, some of the time, if you see the child looking at something which shouldn't be seen, you just sit next to the child and say, "Oh, this is what you're seeing. I think this is not good at this age. Why don't you just see something else?" And start deviating him from that particular whatever thing he's seeing is not good to something which is more productive for him. But the moment you say you're not supposed to see this, you hide the mobile, the more and more the child wants to do what you don't want him to do or what you don't want her to do. So that is why I say parenting is challenging nowadays because of too much of peer pressures everywhere, the exposures and the media. Yes. Parents, all of us today, more or less, are giving our children a lot of focus on IQ. We have so many Olympiads. We encourage the children to participate in that. We have a lot of physical activities, many games. We tell them, okay, participate. So the physical quotient or the intelligent quotient, or you're even taking care of the looks quotient, all this is fine. But something which we are all forgetting is the emotional quotient. If this we don't take care now, it's very difficult. Please understand, your child right from the beginning has to understand to take a no at some point. Many of us give everything what they ask for, which is not good. Then they don't even understand what is life being tough means, what it means to accept failure. That is the reason why many of the teenagers today just can't take up failures. They get into depression very fast. But we are responsible for it. We have to tell them that life is not always about success. It is definitely about failures too. So, this is where our emotional quotient building up is very important because it makes them successful in their life, not just the IQ. And value quotients. It is very nice that in many houses where the grandparents are there, it's much more easier for building up this value quotient. But in nuclear families, it's a bit tough, wherein both the parents are out working, they are with the maids. But still, over the weekends or whenever you come back home, please do sit with them, read out something which inculcates values in them, which inculcates the emotional strength in them. It's good. Sometimes our TV is portraying of late, our Ramayana, Mahabharat, or some of these good uh, value addition serials. Many of us, we don't know about our own culture, be it, even about Jesus Christ, how much he faced in his life, what all problems he faced. Many things, we need to tell them. We need to take them to the value quotient. We need to take them to the emotional quotient, the way they behave, being sensitive to the others. It's a very common scene in especially apartments wherein there are this elevators. What happens is before the senior citizens come out, if there are kids, they literally push through it. But who is going to tell them that it is not correct? You wait. Let the older people go first, then you go. It starts right there. So we have to start correcting them right from there. Every small bits, if we can, teach them there, definitely the emotional quotients and the value quotients will be much better. Their patience level will increase. See, this is what is important. The present day kids just don't have patience. And we have to focus on this. Luckily, this program has been organized in February. This is the Valentine month. And, I was always thinking in this Valentine month, see, there are different views to this Valentine. Some of them may not say, oh, it's just another month. There is nothing about what is this Valentine. Or some of the couples would like to go for a change, leaving the kids. They just want to go out, be for themselves. The kids may be with their grandparents. All fine. See, different people have different opinions. But it is very important that this Valentine just try to change it to parentine. Instead of going out with your partner, just go out with the kids and see the change. If you have two kids, I still suggest, if because both the kids are different. For you, they are children, but each of them is an individual child. So it's very important that you go out with each child separately and do what they want you to do. Maybe one child is very much interested in just going for a shopping in the mall, or one child is very interested in some sports, or one child is very interested in seeing a dance program. So accordingly, as parents, please respect their views, what they want, and go along with them and see the change. Please remember, each child, you have to do what the child requires. Sometimes you may organize a trip. Let that trip have fun for each child. If you have more than one sibling, you have to see that each of them enjoy. It's just not the husband, it's just not the wife, it's just not the one kid. but all of them should enjoy. So that is why I've just called it change to Parentine rather than Valentine. And you will see the difference. As I told you, parents, changes will be there, but it won't be glaring, it won't be immediate. You need patience. Over and over again, you have to reinforce. See, right here, whatever I'm talking, it's not that all of us don't know, but this is a sort of a reinforcement for us. In the same way, there needs to be a reinforcement for the child too, and the child will change. And many of you might also start feeling guilty. What is it? Am I a perfect parent? Have I done something wrong? Why is it that that child is different? My child is not like that. No, please don't get into the guilt mode. There's nothing as a perfect parent. You just have to be one from your heart, and the child will see it. All of us might be observing the child is busy looking at his favorite serial, or the child is busy reading a book, or the child is busy with his digital gadget. But they'll be observing all your actions. And one fine day, they will even come out with it, which will be a shock to you. What is this, mama? You keep complaining to me every time that I keep seeing, but even you keep seeing your favorite serials. Even you keep seeing your mobile. Or you've never taken me out. You were so busy. These are some things which will come in the later part of the life. So let's not get into this. So let us make baby steps in trying to avoid all this and be with our children more. See, immediately one cannot be almost 5 hours, 6 hours with the child continuously. I do agree. Each of us have our own work. But let us increase this time. And what is important is not being 1 hour or 2 hours. Even if you're there 20 minutes with the child, give that quality time. Many a times what happens, we'll be busy in the kitchen or we'll be busy doing our work, and suddenly the child comes and says, mama, come, please see this. So how many of us just drop the work there and go with the kid to see what the kid wants to show you? We will be so busy. Hey, what is this? I'm so busy. Don't call me right now. I'll come later. So these are the things which we have to avoid. We have to be with the kid when the kid wants you. And this is what the kid will do when you want it. So everywhere there is always a give and take. And that is what we have to emphasize and see very clearly. There are several books, and none of the books, are a perfect one for your child. But if you want to go through, these are some of the books which is very interesting. Parenting Styles Theory by Diana. This is what I was talking to you about, the authoritative and authoritarian. Then Mindful Parenting by Suchitra, which is also very good. Then you have Bettering Relationship Between Parents and Children. Then The Peaceful Parent, Happy Kids by Laura. They're all very good books. But all these books, are just aids for you to be a better parent. But you cannot be sure that any one thing works for the child. And again, I stress, because the parents are different, the children are different, the dynamics between the parent and child is different. So you have to be mindful of all this before getting on to bettering the relationship or talking to the child. So parents, with this, I would just like to end my talk, but I'm definitely here to take a lot of questions from you. Please put it in the chat box. See, there is a question. We are loving parents. NHPS is very loving. We never hit kid ever, but the world is not this way always. Then how will the kids learn pain? Yes, that is what I told you before also. It's very important right from the beginning. Yes, you should be loving. All that is fine. But whenever a kid asks for anything, it is not required that each and every wish of his is fulfilled. Sometimes if it is possible, it's okay, but sometimes you need not go out of the way to help the kid. Say suppose you're very busy on it is at night 9 o'clock, the kid says, I just want to eat ice cream at any cost, but the shop below is closed. What do? You need not go all out and take the kid, go to the ice cream parlor just because the kid wants it. Maybe you can always tell the kid, see, it's already late, we cannot go now, I'll get you tomorrow. There may be a lot of tantrums. No, I want it, I'm not interested in the food what you have prepared, please get me ice cream, only then I'll eat what you have cooked. Or some of them may say, let's go out for dinner, I'm not interested. So, you should know where to draw your line. Sometimes I have seen families wherein they literally, okay, come, we'll go. I can't stand the tantrums of my daughter. My God, I'll take her. But this is not it. The child will definitely feel bad. It's okay. But you be calm. You tell her it's not possible. Everything is not possible. Why don't you now have the food what I've cooked? Or worst case, I'll cook for you something what you like. Let's go tomorrow. So it's very important that kids do not get all that they ask for. There should be a line drawn. And this is what will slowly, small things also start telling them, will start teaching them that life is not about success. Life is not about getting everything. Life also means failure. Life also means disappointments. And also, in many families, we see that parents just don't want to discuss the problems that they are undergoing in the office or, at home. Sometimes it's important that you talk to the child that there is a problem. This is the way. What do you feel? How do you think we should try to mitigate this? There's nothing wrong. The child has to know at his level. I'm not telling to a child of 5 years you could say that, but at an age, maybe 8 years, 9 years, when the child is okay, able to understand, you have to talk out your problems. At least not in the form of a mountain, but at least, the child should know what is it that you're undergoing. Why are you feeling sad today? What happened in the office? There's nothing wrong. The child will definitely understand again that life is not about, all the bright things always. There will be failures. Yeah. How much is good time, good screen time for kids? If you ask me, since we have a eye hospital, we know that technically speaking, 20 minutes is what is the maximum time a person, even adults or the child, can see. And after 20 minutes, the vision should be somewhere else, not in the digital media. This will help the kid to have less strain on the eyes. So every 20 minutes, the child should look away from the digital media, be it the TV, be it his pad, be it his mobile, whatever it is. Even for us, it applies. So the time is only 20 minutes. Beyond that, what happens is you will start getting what is called dry eyes, especially in adults, and in kids, their power can increase. And in fact, we also saw a case wherein a kid, because of constant watching of television, the kid literally had squint. We were shocked to see that due to digital, influence, a kid can have such eyesight, can have such problems. Many of them are having serious, power after especially last year, because of constant, digital exposure. So 20 minutes, you have to tell the child to at least get up, because it also helps, some physical movement. Otherwise, they're so much glued and it becomes, everything is linked. The couch potato, no exercises, digital maniac, everything gets linked. So the mantra is 20 minutes. He has to get up, he has to see away from the screen for his own good eyesight, for his own body. So this is what you will have to tell the child. Wow, I'm very happy that someone has told me that we are all watching this session together. So the children are also saying, so I think they have now come to know that what it is, the benefits or the ill effects of seeing the digital media. So kids, if you don't want specs, if you want a good eyesight, you don't want your power to increase, please don't look at one point, either your television or your tab, for more than 20 minutes. You have to get up. You have to see somewhere else. Otherwise, you will get what is called dry eyes also. There won't be watering. There'll be a lot of discomfort in the eye. And I'm sure many of the kids, they'll be learning dance. They want to, look good without the specs. So many of them don't like spectacles. Unfortunately, they'll end up with this. So it's all not only in the parents' hands, it's also in the kids' hands. So both of you should work together and enjoy, because every moment is very nice. After that, after your 12th, you'll be in a totally different world. You will miss the parents and the parents will miss you. So these are those wonderful years of togetherness wherein each and every moment we have to enjoy. That is my sincere advice to both the parents and the children. Every small bit, please enjoy together. Any other questions? The parents can just put in their thoughts. Yes, nowadays kids are lazy. Can't help it. Kids are very lazy. As I told you, partly we are also responsible. We have also become lazy. We were not as active as our parents. So it continues. So we have to reverse all this. We have to start doing more of physical work, more of exercises, more of walking together. Nothing like spending quality time with your children. Just have a, you know, walk in the garden, or just go out to a mall. It's okay. Just have a coffee together. It's so nice without the mobile, without anything, just you and your child just talking. It gives so much of pleasure, but you have to try to see how often you can do this. Very important. And it's very important. Sometimes the child can be accompanied separately with the mother, separately with the father. The bonding increases. Just imagine your son or daughter is sitting at home, and all of a sudden you say, hey, just come out, we'll go. You like to go to that mall? Come, we'll go. We'll have a cup of coffee. Oh, the child will be thrilled. And say, suppose your child is very interested in eating, Maggie, which is a favorite food of many of the kids. And you are one parent who just doesn't want to encourage that. But one fine day, you just say, come, I'll prepare Maggie. The child will be totally in awe. The child will be so happy. So these are the small things which will get you back the child, back to you. In case there is a lot of, the child thinks my mother doesn't do what I want. The parent thinks the child doesn't do what I want. So these are small breakaways, which will lessen the gaps in case it's increasing. Wow, my Archana has told my kid says hello to all. He recently joined the session. Very nice. I really want to know what the kids feel about the session. Are they laughing at the session, or are they very happy because they are watching it along with the parents? And once again, parents, do remember this is the Valentine month. So be a parentine, take them. These are all precious moments. Don't miss, take them out. I think that's it. I'm not seeing any other questions as of now. And Yadushaila ma'am, Shailaja, you have your feedback form, anything to be filled? Because I'm not seeing any more questions.
Sure, ma'am. We've shared the feedback form. So I think the questions are being posted already, and you've answered also. So we would wind up the session, ma'am.
Yeah, I just want to ask the parents again if they have any other questions, any other typical things, which they want to share or which they want to know. Hope I've answered all the questions. Yeah, finally, I would just like to wind up stating that this Destress Parenting is all in our hands. So the more we try to help ourselves love the way we are parenting, the stress is definitely less in us. And this actually reflects in our upbringing. So let's enjoy, our parenthood. And in a way, we also get the goodwill of not only our kids, but the entire universe. Thank you. Thanks a lot once again for giving me this opportunity to talk. And hope I have driven the point to parents. This is a vast area. It's very difficult to go in detail to each and every aspect, but it's just a macro, exposure which I have given. Yeah. Thanks, Yadushaila ma'am. Thanks, Shailaja, and the entire team for making this a good.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much. And on behalf of all the parents and the audience who are present here, on behalf of National Institute of Value Education, I thank you for this wonderful session. I think all of us will agree that you have given wonderful tips today for us on parenting, and which is very, very important, especially after we have, had a year of pandemic, and it has stressed out everybody, including parents, because parents are always with the children and, hovering over them because they are on the mobiles and on the gadgets. So now to break that is a challenge for them again.
And patience is required.
Yeah, and there are so many points which you shared. Like, I thought that know and understand your children will help the parent in return. So we need to have more patience, and we should be very cautious whenever we are trying to communicate with them, or because they learn from all your actions, words, etc. Right? Making exercise a habit was a very important tip which you gave, which many of us lack because of our we have our very busy schedules and things like that. And a very important point that parents need to change during child's teenage years is very important. We need to change accordingly and not expect the child to be to change to the parent and understand the parent. So that is a very nice point which I felt. And the difference between authoritarian and authoritative was wonderful, ma'am. It was a very helpful tip. Thank you. Stress and emotional quotient also was an eye-opener for us. Thank you so much. That's a very important aspect. And it's very true that changes will be seen in a child, not immediately, but definitely over a period of time. And parents should have patience. And that last wonderful thing, what you told, this month being, we have the Valentine, so it's better we have Valentine. Instead of that, it is a very unusual thing. We never heard that before, but a thing to be thought over. I'm sure parents will think over and will spend quality time that day too with the children. And once again, I thank you, dear parents. Thank you all once again for joining for our wonderful sessions. Keep joining for our forthcoming sessions too. Please fill the feedback form. It will really help us to, know how you're taking these sessions. And also please like and share our YouTube page. Thank you once again, Rupashri ma'am, on behalf of everybody, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.